You're watching Las Vegas Broadcasting Company. You're watching Las Vegas Broadcasting Company. You're watching Las Vegas Broadcasting Company.
To all my viewers around the world who are tuning in, thank you so much. You guys are watching The Vibe on Las Vegas Broadcasting Company, live in Las Vegas. So last week we talked about some awesome places to visit right here in Las Vegas. We talked about party tours, we talked about some awesome movies and TV shows coming out, and we talked about some life hacks. This week, I wanted to talk about some more life hacks. I wanted to talk a little more about party tours, but actually share my own personal experience, not as a host, but as a customer. I want to go over some motorcycles because that's a hot topic right now. I'm going to go over some music announcements where I talk about musicians that are going to be performing in Las Vegas in the next coming months. I'm going to be talking about a brand new movie that's going to be coming out really soon that you all should watch. And once again, I'm going to talk about some more life hacks and also catch up on some TV shows that maybe you can catch off Las Vegas Broadcasting Company and TV shows that you can catch right here on Las Vegas Broadcasting Company, where we play music and we talk about some really awesome topics. First song on the agenda tonight is by Jason Derulo. This is called Want You to Want Me. Get you sexy on, guys.
You're watching Las Vegas Broadcasting Company.
Welcome back to The Vibe on Las Vegas Broadcasting Company. Zero commercial interruption on my show. We're just going to play some music videos and talk about some amazing stuff. So one topic I really wanted to go over is motorcycles. I'm a huge motorcycle enthusiast, but, you know, there's a lot of unknowns about the whole motorcycle business, especially out here in Las Vegas. Unfortunately, riding out here is kind of dangerous. From what I've heard from other riders, this city provides unique challenges to every rider out here. One in particular that I've noticed is everybody likes to mention the fact that the streets out here, especially in the summertime, are really slick, meaning that it's really slippery on the roads, especially when it rains. I've gone down most of the time when it was raining. So make sure to look out for that. I mean, this city is just always moving. You got cab drivers coming in this way. You got international drivers that have their licenses from different places where the road rules are different. You have, Uber drivers, cab drivers. You got Cali drivers. Everybody's in a rush to make it to the next show or to the next event. And as a motorcycle rider, it's really dangerous. I wanted to talk about some of the cool, awesome motorcycles that I personally have ridden on and what to kind of expect from it and what you should expect as a rider out here in Vegas. Now, enough with the negative side of riding. We all love to ride on a motorcycle, whether you're on the back or whether you're actually driving it. We all love it. Now, if you're new to the whole motorcycle business, don't be a frat boy. Don't go out and get the newest Gixxer 1000 and take off on it because you will go down. If you're a brand new rider, I can't stress this enough. Please start at the lower bar. You'll thank yourself for it later. Like I did. My first motorcycle was a 2002 Yamaha Virago 250, as you can see behind me there. It's a really good bike, just for beginners though. If you've already got a few years riding on a motorcycle, I wouldn't take this up. Personally, you won't enjoy it very much. It has a top speed of about 70 miles per hour, 75 if you're going downhill. It's definitely a good bike to use when you're starting out. As an amateur. There should be a picture of me on it at some point. I'll show. Yeah, right there. Look, I'm looking. Why is it I don't know why I have to pose like I'm looking at something important to the side. I look like such a douche. Anyway, the Virago is really good as a beginner. It gets up to about 75 miles per hour. It's really easy to work on. All the parts are pretty universal. Yamaha makes parts that are usable for all of their bikes throughout the years. So Yamaha is good if you want to experience the beginning of riding and you want to learn how to really, the mechanics of a bike. It's perfect. But let's say you're a little bit higher. Let's set the bar higher. Maybe you want an intermediate bike. You've been riding for a few years, but you still got some things to learn. My second bike that I chose was a 2003 Honda Shadow 750 Spirit. and that bike was fantastic. I loved it. I bought it for about $4,000 on Craigslist. It was a great buy. Funny story, I crashed that bike about 3 hours after purchasing it. Now, it wasn't my fault. I had parked it out in the desert, away from cars, and a drunk driver had hit it, and unfortunately, he had to pay the $500 damage that was done to it, but beside the point. The Honda Shadow gets up to about, I'd say, about 120 on a good day. It's really 110 is the highest it can go. I wouldn't push it past that. Honestly, you really shouldn't be speeding past that margin anyway. Local law enforcement will shut it down out here. They don't play around with the whole motorcycle speeding business. But I got that bike, and it really opened up the door for me as a rider. I really learned how to focus and control the road, because at that point I had speed. On the Virago, I can make it up to 65 in the freeway. Cars are passing me. They don't care. I'm no threat to them. But on a 750, it's a lot different. You have a lot more torque to go with. It has a lot more chrome on it. That's the one thing I don't like. I had girls that never rode on the back of a motorcycle before in their entire life, and they would put their shoes on my tailpipe and melt their Vans on my chrome tailpipe, and I'd have this like burnt Van waffle print that it would take me 2 months to clean it up. Be like, oh my God, your shoe burned my bike. I'd be like, wrong. Your shoe, your bike burned my shoe. I'd be like, wrong. Your shoe burned my bike, and now you're walking home. So make sure if you get a Shadow, you warn people about the precious chrome. The last bike I'm going to talk about is the bike for advanced riders. Do not get a bike like this unless you know exactly how to ride the road and you've been riding it for years, and obviously you have a license. You really shouldn't be riding without one. But my third bike was the 2011 Yamaha Striker 1304, and that right there is a beauty of a bike. It can get up to about 60 miles per hour in about 3 seconds if you know what to do in second gear. About a top speed of about 140, and for a cruiser, that's pretty good. Now, in the bike world, you got really two types of common form bikes. You got your cruisers, and then you got your sports bikes. The cruisers are the ones that I'm showing right now. For a cruiser, that's pretty fast, 140 miles per hour. The problem is, it is a newer bike, and the parts are more expensive. And Yamaha, you do have to order some of these parts, especially from Japan. Like the back tire, for example, is about like this thick and wide. So you're really taking a gamble there. You can't really find the tire in most of the shops. You actually have to order it from out of the country. This bike is a little bit touchy. You got to be ready to put some money into it, but if you've got it, I'm telling you, it is worth it. This bike is great. It's smooth. I barely had to do any work on it. So yeah, if you're gonna come out here and ride some motorcycles, make sure you always wear a helmet, because it is the law. It may be different in other states, but it is the law out here. And another law that people usually get confused, because it is legal out in California but not anywhere else in the country, is lane splitting. Do not lane split out in this state. I mean, you do you. It's none of my business, but if you don't want to get pulled over by law enforcement, don't mess around with our laws. Make sure you know what you're doing, all right? So back to our music topic. I hope you guys like Mick Jagger, because we're not going to be playing a song by Mick Jagger. This instead is Moves by Jagger by Maroon 5, a classic.
You're watching Las Vegas Broadcasting Company.
If you get yourself on A-list, they'll pick you up at the Mandalay Bay, where you'll go to 3 clubs, top clubs throughout Vegas, by the way. VIP access, so you guys beat the line. And the best part, free unlimited drinks on the bus by a host who not only serves you all these drinks, but he takes you to all these local points of interest and takes photos for you all night and makes sure that you get to all these spots on time and you don't have to wait in line. It's a great opportunity to experience the nightlife of Vegas when you come out here. So make sure when you do come out, you use my coupon code, LOVETYLER. That's how you get 50% off your ticket. But if you guys are curious about how Party Tours happens and what actually goes on, check out our TV show right here in Las Vegas Broadcasting Company, Party Tours TV show. It's great, and you can catch me in it too, so make sure you give me a shout out. I actually want to go over my most memorable experience with Party Tours to date. And it's not from a host point of view, it's actually from a customer point of view. thought about working with Party Tours, I was a customer myself. But I don't want to spoil it for you guys. When we come back, I'm going to talk about my best experience with Party Tours as a customer. Hope you guys like Bruno Mars. This is probably the most catchy song he's ever made. This is 24 Karat Magic. 24 Karat Magic in the air.
You're watching Las Vegas Broadcasting Company.
So my first ever experience with Party Tours was the day I turned 21. It was about 2 years ago, and I had plenty of time to plan for this. The Angel and Chris in the office were fantastic. They hooked me up big time. I invited a few of my longtime friends out, Christine, Sergio, Javi, Chris, and Julie. They all came out with me that night. The first thing we did was we went to the High Roller, which is right here in Las Vegas. It's the world's largest observation wheel, Ferris wheel for people who don't know what an observation wheel is. It's right here in Las Vegas. I started out there. That's where we began our evening, as you can see behind me. And then we went straight to the Mandalay Bay to begin our tour, right? And my first host, this was back in the day before Party Tours was at the Mandalay Bay. We actually used to be at the Hard Rock Cafe, and that's where we started. I forgot. And my host was Matt, and he was great. Matt's a longtime friend of mine and a mentor. He's the one who taught me how to be a host on Party Tours. So it was really great to have him as my host in particular. First thing we did, we went to, what club was the first one we went to? I forgot. It was Surrender, actually. We went to Surrender, right? And first thing we did, we got on the bus, we got drinks, right? And we were out there dancing, we were partying, we were having a good time. I had about 3 of Matt's drinks at that point, and I was really tipsy. And mind you, this is before we get to the real first club. We got to the Vegas sign, we took some photos, we're on the bus just dancing and up, having a good time. I'm just tossing back those drinks. I'm new at this game, I'm 21, I'm fresh, and anyway, so we got to the first club and it was fun. We were dancing, the girls were having a great time, the guys were having a great time. It was fun. I think DJ Snake was playing, so I'm a huge fan. It was popping. And then we got back on the bus, we're serving some more drinks. You could see there my good friend Chris and my good friend Javi flew in from California. She came in to have a good time with us. These are all people who are quite a bit older than me, so they kind of have a feel for their drink. But I wasn't quite there yet, because when we got on the bus for the second time, I must have tossed back 4 drinks. And then by the second club, as you can see, I was puking my guts out right in the Wynn Hotel. Luckily, I didn't do it on the bus. That's a big no-no, by the way. You can't puke on the bus. $500 biohazard fine to clean up, so don't let yourself get caught puking on the bus. But I had to have my friends take care of me after that. It was a nightmare. I mean, it was not a nightmare. It was the greatest time of my life, but I really didn't know how to hold down my alcohol, so my friends were just taking photos of me all night. Yeah, that's a photo. That's a photo of us at some pancake house at about 3 in the morning. I don't remember it, but, photos do for me. This was my hangover night. I encourage you guys, if you come out to Vegas, have a hangover night, man. Make sure you bring your friends with you, but I promise you the Party Tours hosts will watch out for you and make sure that you have your hangover style night in peace, man. All right, so I'm gonna throw on a song from the past, a little blast from the past. This is Outkast. This is Hey Yeah.
You're watching Las Vegas Broadcasting Company.
Welcome back to The Vibe, right here on Las Vegas Broadcasting Company, where we talk about musical artists that have been in Vegas, that are in Vegas, and will always come back to Vegas. So in the next coming months, we're going to have some awesome musicians come through. I wanted to fill you guys in to make sure when you guys come out to Vegas that you guys get the musical performance that's catered to your personal taste. So if you guys are a fan of rap and hip-hop, Lil Uzi Vert is going to be performing November 4th at the Thomas and Mack Center. If you're not familiar where that is, that's by the UNLV College. Suicide Boys is going to be playing November 17th at the House of Blues, which is at the Mandalay Bay. Lil Pump is going to be performing December 21st at the Brooklyn Bowl, which is also at the Link Hotel. Now, if you guys are probably more into the pop, maybe bubblegum pop, maybe a little more mainstream type of music, Backstreet Boys are going to be performing November 8th through the 18th at Axis. Elton John is going to be performing at Coliseum November 1st through the 4th. And Lady Gaga is going to be performing at the T-Mobile Arena December 16th. Now, once again, maybe you like the classics, maybe you like rock and roll. Guns N' Roses is going to be performing at the T-Mobile Arena as well, but on November 17th. Also, Misfits is going to be performing at the Garden Center December 28th. Lastly, Black Veil Brides along with Asking Alexandra is going to be performing March 2nd of next year, 2018, at the House of Blues, which I mentioned before is at the Mandalay Bay. Now, if you're like me, I love dubstep, bass and house, just all sorts of EDM. So if you're more of an EDM fan like myself, Calvin Harris is going to be performing at Omnia November 10th, which is at Caesar's Palace. Dylan Francis is going to be performing at XS November 10th, which is, if I am not mistaken, it's either at the Encore or Win. I'll find out for you guys next time. And Carnage is going to be performing November 13th at the Marquee, which is at the Cosmopolitan. Now, maybe you don't like any of that. Maybe you don't like country, you don't like hip-hop, you don't like pop. You like country. I can definitely hook you guys up with some country. Daryl Worley is going to be performing at Access Showroom November 4th. You have Dwight Yoakam is going to be performing at the Cosmopolitan December 13th. And Alabama is going to be performing December 15th at the Encore Theater. Also, if you're a country fan, make sure you guys hit up Stoney's. I know I've talked about it before. Stoney's is actually in Town Square, south of the Mandalay Bay. It's a big mall, and it's a huge country-themed club that you can go to. If you're not really into more of the nightlife and the clubs and the hip-hop and the EDM music, definitely hit up Stoney's. It's a good reflection on good country music right out here in Las Vegas. I've been playing 21 Pilots for you every episode. They are one of my favorites, and I know they're one of your favorites. This is Heavy Dirty Soul.
You're watching Las Vegas Broadcasting Company.
Welcome back to The Vibe right here on Las Vegas Broadcasting Company. So I like to talk about movies every now and then on the show. I like to talk about superhero movies. I mean, it's obvious at this point, right? Superhero movies are really taking Hollywood by storm at the moment. I have to say that Marvel has really has the upper edge in the whole superhero movie genre at the moment, but the DCEU is catching up really quick. In particular, the brand new movie that's going to be coming out really soon, or is probably already out in some cases, Justice League. The greatest superhero team of all time. I mean, look at them. That's the classic right there. That is who started all of the real superheroes, you know? So these are the characters from the actual Justice League movie that is going to be coming out real soon. I don't want to spoil anything for you, but make sure that you guys catch up on the first three movies. That's Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, and then Suicide Squad. Oh yeah, and then Wonder Woman, and then it's Justice League. So it basically follows our basic group of superheroes. They, have to come together to save the world against Stephenson, if I'm not mistaken. I'm personally not 100% familiar with a lot of the DC villains, unless they're Batman villains. I mean, obviously, right? So I'm not 100% sure, but if they're gathering up the entire Justice League, it's bad news. Henry Cavill is playing Superman, and Ben Affleck is playing Batman again. Gal Gadot is playing Wonder Woman. If you haven't seen Wonder Woman yet, by the way, you have to go see it. The other DCEU movies are debatable when it comes to, the ratings. Personally, I love them all, but I can understand why, a lot of people don't like some of the Justice League, or the DCEU movies. Suicide Squad in particular was kind of all over the place with the whole plot. Batman vs. Superman was just a little too dark. I mean, Superman didn't smile once. So let's hope they really learn their mistakes from their lesser quality movies for this new one. They really stepped it up in Wonder Woman, though. We really never got a real silver screen Wonder Woman until this date. And Gal Gadot really did her character honor. Greatest Diana Prince that I've seen to date. I used to watch the original one from the 70s or 80s. I don't remember. I know my mother used to watch it. Anyway, Justice League. It's going to be coming out real soon. Fans have been waiting for this moment for decades now. But it is kind of obvious that Warner Brothers, they are really trying to step up in the way that Disney has with the whole Marvel MCU franchise. I mean, look where they started. They started out with Iron Man, and now we're about to get, we just got Thor Ragnarok, and we're about to get the third Avengers movie with Thanos. But that's a topic for another day. So Justice League, make sure you guys catch it. It's got Cyborg, Aquaman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, and Flash. It's the first time I think we've gotten Cyborg, Aquaman, and Flash on the big screen. Now, Flash has his own TV show, which it is pretty good. I'm not a big fan. It's got a really good plot, and the writing is really good, but the effects are terrible, and the fight scenes, in my opinion, are just god-awful. So I hope that the Justice League movie does the Flash some justice, no pun intended. But Aquaman, he looks fantastic. That's the guy from Game of Thrones, actually. Jason Momoa is playing Aquaman, and he just looks terrifying. But what I've been hearing is they learned from their mistakes after Batman vs. Superman with the whole dark tone, and they're really trying to bring a lighter tone to this movie, whilst not making it too colorful, if you will, kind of like the MCU has a habit of doing. I mean, don't get me wrong, the MCU has fantastic movies. They're taking over the box office right now. But at the same time, the MCU doesn't really know how to kill off a character and make them stay dead. It's a lot lighter tone. So let's hope that Justice League has a good balance between the two, because honestly, I don't want this movie to fail. I really don't. I love the MCU. I love Marvel. Probably more than DC, but that doesn't mean I don't love DC just as much, and I don't want them to succeed. So I'm really hoping that this movie is as good as I've been beefing it up. I encourage you guys to go out and watch it. Next, I want to talk a little more about some movies next week, but I want to talk about some TV shows that I've kind of mentioned on the show previously when we come back. Okay, guys, this is I Don't Want to Live Forever by Zan and Taylor Swift. Or wait, no, I apologize. This is Purple Lamborghini by Rick Ross and Skrillex.
You're watching Las Vegas Broadcasting Company.
So you guys got to admit, I was just talking about Justice League, and then I put on a music video with the Joker from the same movie franchise that I was just talking about. So last week I talked about some really cool and easy life hacks that can make your life just a little bit easier from some common household items, like, for example, say you ever put a pen in your pocket. I know that I do for sure, especially when I was in the military. I would frequently put pens inside my pocket because you always have to have a pen on you, and I would leave it in there and then put it in the wash, and next thing I know, I've ruined a perfectly good uniform. Believe it or not, it's actually really simple to get out an ink stain. Sharpies, your basic Bic pens, highlighters. Just use some hand sanitizer or alcohol, rub it in, brush it out, rub it in, brush it out until the stain comes off. It works every time, trust me. Another thing, I talked about using your phone during a power outage last time. You take the phone, turn the light on, and wrap a rubber band around a water bottle. But another useful way to use your phone during a power outage. Let's say you want to know if it's just your house or the entire neighborhood, because if it's just your house, you just switch the breaker and it's easy. But if it's the entire neighborhood, that's an entirely different story. Turn on your Wi-Fi. Take a look if your Wi-Fi is off or the entire block's Wi-Fi is off. That's how you know if it's the whole block or just your house. Now, when I get spaghetti, I've noticed that I don't tend to use the whole box all in one. I mean, you end up making more spaghetti than you need to when you cook, in my experience. But also, it's really hard to reseal all of those boxes that you buy spaghetti in. You put it in and then they don't close, and you put it back in your cabinet, and then your spaghetti is stale and it tastes like whatever's inside your cabinet. Really easy way to recycle stuff and keep your spaghetti fresh. Just take an old Pringles bottle, put it in there, and make sure you label it though, because it'll be pretty disappointing to find dry spaghetti when you want a box of sour cream and onion Pringles. Another thing you can actually do, you can actually cut off the bottom of your Pringles can and use them as coasters. There you go. That's a free life hack on the house. Another one that's really useful. When you go to the grocery store and you buy fresh produce, you get those mesh bags, right? You could take that and put a bar of soap inside of it and use it to clean abrasive grease off of your cooking ware. Or if maybe you're like me, you like to do art projects or you like to work on your cars and stuff and you have grease and paint on your hand, it's really easy to use that abrasive side to scrub off all the gunk on your fingers without having to touch, the handle of a door or anything. Because that's my biggest problem once I'm working on my bike and I have oil on my hands. I don't want to touch the door, and everyone knows that I've been getting oil all over the house, right? Last hack I want to go over is really simple. I noticed that scissors, they really tend to get dull if you don't take care of them, but it isn't exactly easy to sharpen a pair of scissors. The easiest and cheapest way, believe it or not, is actually using sandpaper. You just take the abrasive side out and cut gently through the paper, and it will sharpen your scissors. The grainy side itself will actually sharpen the metal on the scissors, making them more crisp. And there you go. Those are your life hacks for this week. I'm going to try and bring up some more life hacks throughout my show. I wanted to bring some variety to my music tonight. So for all of my Latin-speaking fans out there, this is Danza Kuduro by Don Omar.
You're watching Las Vegas Broadcasting Company.
So there are some great TV shows that you can catch right here on Las Vegas Broadcasting Company and some other TV shows you can catch right in your own home. Earlier, a few episodes ago, I talked about Rick and Morty. That is my all-time favorite adult cartoon. I talked about how the new season was going to be airing. The whole season was aired already. You can watch it on Hulu if you want. You can watch it on YouTube Red. The third season was amazing in my opinion. I don't want to spoil anything for you. The season finale was a little bit okay. They kind of had to tie some loose ends. I get it, but honestly, I think there was another episode in the season that should have been the finale. I'd love to go over. I don't have any time, but that's another topic for another day. Also, The Walking Dead season 8. I mentioned that a few episodes ago when I had Spectrum come on my show, and they're actually airing episodes right now. Season 8 is live on AMC if you guys want to check it out. Also, one TV show that I just found out that's actually been out for a while now is called Stranger Things. I'm not sure if you guys like the whole Stephen King type, scary in a modern television, but this is great. It really takes the 1980s theme and brings it into now. I really feel like I'm watching a 1980s TV show in 2017 quality. So check out Stranger Things. You gotta check out the Party Tours TV show right here on Las Vegas Broadcasting Company. I mean, there's tons of great shows on this network. And if you want to follow us music-wise, make sure you check out our Las Vegas Broadcasting Company radio station on the TuneIn app. Thank you all so much for joining me on The Vibe on Las Vegas Broadcasting Company, where we air episodes of this show every night, weekly. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I will see you all next week.